Oh yeah, baby. Well, I'm proud the Lions got that first dub of the season. Looks to be the first of many dubs to come this upcoming NFL season. So, I have brought us a new tradition to celebrate every Lions win. So I now have this shoey right here with me. And I got this Coca-Cola. So I think it's time to celebrate this Lions win over Washington. Shout out to Aiden Hutchinson on a 3-sack game. And shout out to Amon-Ra St. Brown for 8 straight games of 8+ catches. I'll talk about more of that in the recap. But shout out to them Tills too. Shout out to all the Commanders fans. Good effort from all yous today. But now, time to celebrate the Lions' victory today. Time for us to do a shoey. Okay, we got her perfect, baby. Let's do this. Cheers! Woo, baby, yeah! How about that? Let's go, baby. One prize. So yeah, the Lions' worst W of the season against those sellouts out of Washington, those fucking commies. So the Lions finally get their first W of the season. Before we talk about everything that happened in the Lions game this week, let's talk about everything else though that happened this week. In terms of the Tigers, nope, still nothing from the Tigers. Just tanking all this week. They only won 1 total game this last week and lost 5 games. Including getting completely decimated earlier today by the Chicago White Sox. So yeah, other than that, nothing to see here. Lions are still tanking. Tigers are still tanking for a top draft pick. Currently, the Tigers are currently slaughtered in the 4th spot. And for the Tigers to have a chance at the top, at the number 1 overall pick in the lottery, they gotta be within the bottom 6. So right now, they pretty much gotta be 6 in the order or better to have a chance at the top pick. But yeah, nothing from the Tigers, and the GM search still continues on. We probably won't know the Tigers' next GM until maybe October or November. But yeah, nothing else to see here, just more tanks for the Tigers. Now to the Lions game against Washington today, and man, this Lions team came swinging right out of fucking gate right through the first half. Like, this defense just pounded the living shit out of Carson Wentz and the Commanders. Just Washington could not get anything going that first half. The Lions were able to do everything well, and especially not just defensively and offensively that first half, but also special teams well. Like, all 3 phases of the game were hitting on all cylinders. It got a little dicey to start throughout the second half when Washington made the adjustments and were able to claw right back in the game. But the Lions were only able to let them get as close as 7 points, and that would be it for Washington. Granted, the first half, I wasn't really on board with the Lions giving up, going for it on 4th and goal while in field goal range from the 3-yard line. I probably would have been more comfortable with it if they were at the 1-yard line, but from 3 yards out, it's like, I mean, it wasn't a bad idea, but that play execution was pretty terrible and a bad play call. And then in that second half, they then punted on a 4th and 1. It's like, that made no sense. It's like, if you're gonna go for it on 4th and 3, on 4th and goal on the 3-yard line, then why the fuck would you punt on a 4th and 1? So yeah, the Lions, so even though they left 3 points on the board, they were still able to get the job done, especially right after they left the 3 points on the board. Defense answers right back with the sack fumble that resulted in a safety, and the Lions get 2 points and the ball right back. And then they march right down the field and score another touchdown. And also, Fox's TV coverage today was pretty shit to start the game, especially when the TV crew missed Amon-Ra St. Brown's 49-yard catch. Because when they focused on Reynolds, who was going downfield, and I was like, wait a second, where's the fucking ball at? Because I thought Amon-Ra was a little further down. And then all of a sudden they turned the camera back and Amon-Ra had the ball. It's like, the fuck? It's like, how the fuck did you miss Amon-Ra's catch? It's like, Jesus Christ, I thought Fox Sports was only supposed to be trash in NASCAR. Not the NFL, aka their fucking money pit. Jesus Christ, Fox really needs to get their fucking shit together. So yeah, everybody, it's not just NASCAR that Fox Sports sucks ass covering with. It's also NFL too. The rabbit hole goes deeper. But yeah, the Lions, even though Washington made it a game in the second half, Detroit was still able to keep them at bay. Mainly off of Amon-Ra St. Brown. Shout out to him having a great game. His 8th consecutive game of at least 8 or more catches, which ties an NFL record for most consecutive games of 8+ catches. And Amon-Ra also becomes the youngest to achieve that milestone, because the other 2 players that Amon-Ra St. Brown shares that milestone with are Michael Thomas from the Saints and the diva Antonio Brown. And both AB and Thomas were 26 when they achieved that milestone, and Amon-Ra did it at 22. So yeah, Amon-Ra easily picking up where he left off to end his rookie season. Amon-Ra is going to be one of the top receivers in the league this year, no doubt. So yeah, and Amon-Ra also with 2 touchdowns. So yeah, Amon-Ra played a valuable part in the win today. Aiden Hutchinson, number 97, he also played a valuable part in the Lions' win today, getting 3 sacks in that first half. Hot damn. Just like that first half, nobody had an answer for Hutchinson. Like, Hutchinson was just getting right through that Washington O-line. And was getting those sacks that he should have had last week against Hurts. He got them against Carson Wentz. See, I fucking told you if it was any other QB not named Jalen Hurts, Hutchinson would have gotten 2 sacks or more last week against Philly. But this week he made up for it with 3 sacks. So yeah, and also, what was that about Aiden Hutchinson being a bust after week 1? And how, he said he'll never be anything in Detroit. What was the Lions thinking? What was all that? Exactly. Lions fans that thought Hutchinson was a bust after 1 fucking game, do me and the entire fan base a fucking favor and shut the fuck up. Like, honestly, at least 95% of this fan base needs to fucking think before they speak. And so yeah, just shut the fuck up and stop judging a player after 1 fucking game. Jesus Christ, this fan base is pretty bad. And not every Lions fan is bad. There are good Lions fans 100%. Just the good ones end up getting shit on by all the bad ones. And all those negative SOL fans. AKA there goes Moby. But yeah, congrats to Hutchinson. And also with Hutchinson getting the 3 sacks, that's a single game Lions franchise record for most sacks by a rookie Lions defender. So yeah, Hutchinson has set the mark. So Hutchinson already making a case for himself, now 3 sacks. So Hutchinson getting his rookie season back on track after a pretty rough debut. Where Hutchinson didn't play too terrible against the Eagles. The numbers just didn't reflect it. But this week, Hutchinson gets redemption. And also DeAndre Swift, despite playing with an injury, with a bad ankle, and being on a snap count, DeAndre Swift made the most of his opportunities, especially getting that great touchdown play. When he fell down but got right back up and was able to go and score the touchdown, that would effectively put the game out of reach for Washington. So yeah, and also the big thing that also helped the Lions win this game was when Washington decided to go for 2 points. When an extra point would have cut the lead to 7. And then they missed that 2-point conversion, which was an interception. And then when the Washington got that final touchdown before the end of the game, Washington then missing that extra point, which played a big factor. It's like, why the fuck would you take the 2 points when an extra point would have cut it to 7 points? It's like Ron Rivera looked like a dumbass in this game. And I like Ron Rivera. I think he's a solid coach, but that was a pretty bad decision there, which led to the missed extra point playing a big factor. So yeah, you know, the defense kind of got gassed out. Like, to be honest, this defense got banged up a bit, especially Hutchinson and Okuda. But both of them ended up being out of game for a little bit for leg cramps, because of probably humidity and heat out inside the stadium. So yeah, still overall though, the defense needs to learn how to play a full 60 minutes. Like, you don't win the game within the first 30. But, you know, this defense, they fought tooth and nail. They made the plays they needed to when it mattered the most and got the win. You know, first dub of the season, getting that win 36-27 over Washington. First dub this season. So yeah, for this year, we don't have to wait all the way till November to get that first win of the year. We already got it within 2 games. So Lions go to 1-1. Hallelujah. Hey, let me just say, I called the Lions' first win being against Washington in my season predictions. I said the Lions would beat Washington. So let me just say, I called my shot and backed it up. So yeah, Jared Goff played a really solid game too. You know, he made a couple bad overthrows, but he did make the throws he needed to and played a really solid game. Didn't even turn the ball over. Like, the Lions didn't even have one single turnover, except maybe that 4th and goal, which led to turnover on downs. And also in the final 2 minutes of the game, when they went for it on 4th down, and Amon-Ra just got the ball punched out of his hands. Other than that, no real turnovers from the Lions in this game. Like, the Lions just flat out beat the Commanders off pure skill. But yeah, and also the Lions were a lot more disciplined this week than last week. Because this week, the Lions only had 1 total penalty in this game for 5 yards. So yeah, that's a massive improvement over last week. Like, the Lions definitely learned to not take stupid penalties. So yeah, that's good to see there. But yeah, still, a solid win overall. You know, Washington made it a good game, but hey, shout out to all the Washington fans. You know, that was a good game. You scared us a little bit in that second half, but, you know, the Lions still were able to hang on and made the plays they needed to get the win. So, Lions got that first W of the season. And for everyone saying this is SOL, no, it's not SOL. If this was truly the same SOL Lions team of years past, then the Lions would have A, found a way to lose that game in the 4th quarter, or B, the Lions would have lost this game from the very beginning, when the Lions had 3/5 of their O-line injured and out of this game, because the Lions also won and effectively ran the ball well. And let me just say this for the Lions rushing game. The Lions O-line had no Frank Ragnow, no Big V, no Jonah Jackson. And they had Dan Skipper and Evan Brown starting this game. And the Lions were still effectively running this ball well because Jamal Williams and DeAndre Swift are both fucking chads. So yeah, it turns out that last week's rushing performance against the Eagles was no flash in the pan, and that the Lions rushing game is legit this year. Now whether it can hold up well against some pretty other top teams like the Vikings and the Packers and maybe the Dolphins and maybe the Bills, that's yet to be seen. The toughest games remain on schedule. But still, the Lions did their job today. They got the win, go to 1-1. So yeah, celebrate this win, but then it'll be time to quickly turn our attention to Minnesota next week for that division matchup against the Vikings. And getting ready for Vikings Hate Week. So yeah, looking forward to Minnesota next week. And more than likely, the game against Minnesota could be for the NFC North lead, since Green Bay is playing against Tampa Bay next week in Tampa, and Rodgers struggles down in Florida. But yeah, first dub of the season, 36-27. And keep in mind, the Lions' offense is this good now, and they didn't even have their 3 starters on their O-line. And oh yeah, the Lions didn't even have Jamison Williams for this game, for this team yet. Because Jamison's still out with that injury, but he's rehabbing very well. I've been hearing he could be cleared in time for he could be cleared in time for the Patriots game when the Lions face Matt Patricia in a few weeks. So maybe Jamison Williams could be cleared in time for that game. We'll have to see. But yeah, great W. Let's celebrate this one. And let's move on. On to Minnesota next week. See y'all later. C-Rad out.